About the movies. What do you think about them? Can you want to?
I love them all. I know we're going with the first trilogy first,
Right.
But the first one is
The best. Yeah, I mean,
it's the best.
let's talk about specifically like one film at a time. Let's
Talk
go.
about the Curse of the Black Pearl first.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, you talk about an opening film really hitting the head on grabbing your attention and getting you to fucking stay.
What do you mean?
I mean, the way they do it, and like just the characters and how they're presented, and Jack Sparrow's character coming in on that ship as it sinks, and he just jumps off, and then it's comedic, but it's also kind of serious in a way that movie is.
Mm-hmm.
But they just from the beginning to the end they don't miss, and it's great.
I think that one of the most genius things that they could have done, and I see this term get thrown around a lot in terms of the Pirates movies, that's accidentally genius. And I can't help but kind of agree with that. Like I don't know, it's kind of funny how Jack Sparrow is constantly portrayed as this drunk idiot who has no idea what he's doing, but in every situation Jack Sparrow comes out on top. Oh yeah. Because he's just like that. Like,
yeah, he's him.
Yeah. He comes out on top in every scenario. He outsmarts everybody. Mm-hmm. And I think it's because people just don't.
They don't take him seriously.
They don't take him seriously. Yeah. They don't, whatever, right? So I think in terms of that, creating a great character, like, just in the writing alone, has nothing to do even, like, let alone the fact of Johnny Depp.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have Johnny Depp playing Jack Sparrow, I don't think it.
It's not Jack Sparrow. However, I think that finding the right actor to portray the character that you wrote was a very important part of that, because that character could have easily been miscast, especially back in 2003. Oh, yeah. You know, with the people that were big at the time. Johnny Depp, I feel like wasn't. No, he just did Public Enemies, I think. Or was that late? No, that was way later.
I mean, his very first movie was Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, but that was in the 80s.
Yeah.
And then, he did a couple Tim Burton movies. So, I don't know. I'm not sure. Around 2003, I'm not sure about the whereabouts of Johnny Depp's career, but I do know that Orlando Bloom was popping.
Oh, yeah.
Popping. Mm-hmm. When did Lord of the Rings come out?
2000?
2000? So 3 years later, homie hopped on to fucking...
I think...
Pirates? Jesus. Dude, damn.
Yeah, 2001. And then the last one came out in 2003. He had two great movies come out.
Wow.
Orlando Bloom was just on fire. Mm-hmm. He went from Legolas to Will Turner.
And not to mention, Keira Knightley was in The Phantom Menace.
I know. I watched that the other day, and I was sitting there, I was like, that sure is there, isn't it?
Yeah, that definitely is. Yep. But yeah, so, I mean, I don't really know, like... Again, I wanted to go way more in depth in this episode.
Did you know Michael Keaton auditioned for Jack Sparrow?
Ooh, no. Nope.
Hugh Jackman, he just wasn't a big enough star yet, apparently.
Hugh Jackman?
Yeah.
For Jack Sparrow?
Yeah.
What do you mean? He was in fucking X-Men at that time.
I don't know. Christopher Walken.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the black photo.
Who else?
Jim Carrey?
Yeah.
No way.
Jim Carrey.
Yeah, that would have been horrible. I'm sorry. I love Jim Carrey to death, but he does not fit in that world.
No. Matthew McConaughey. I love Matthew McConaughey.
All right.
Johnny Depp is...
Looking for the black pearl here.
Just comes in with a country accent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's awesome.
I just arrived here in the Caribbean and looking for some tequila and a black pearl.
Oh.
That would have been fucking terrible. Holy shit. No way. That's not real.
Robert De Niro turned it down. That's not real.
He turned it down?
Because he didn't think it was going to be successful.
Yeah, that sounds like something he'd do. He kind of sounds like a dick.
Oh, yeah. Great actor, but a dickhead.
Yeah, he kind of... Whatever. Anyway, let's talk about Pirates.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
You got sidetracked.
So, So the movie begins. I'm gonna basically just do like a plot summary, I guess, of all three movies because I wanted, like I said, I wanted to go more in depth, but whatever. So basically, the movie begins with a very ominous version of the classic Ride song, but instead of the more upbeat type of beat, it is creepily sung by a little girl, and it's like in an off key, and it's in a really misty sea and all this stuff. And this young girl is known as Elizabeth Swann. She is coming over from England to colonize this area in the Caribbean. Does it ever say specifically where it is?
No, not that I remember.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But we can find out.
Anywhere, some tropical island. Probably Puerto Rico or somewhere.
Eli's home. Sorry.
Actually, no, he's not Puerto Rican.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's Mexican. Sorry.
So, yeah. Anyway, while she's sitting there singing randomly to herself about pirates, which is kind of weird, you'd think that somebody would have been like, stop. Which somebody does. His name's Gibbs. And he's one of the sailors that is on the boat with her coming over from England. And he later gets turned into a pirate.
One of the best.
Yeah.
It is a British settlement of Port Royal in Jamaica.
Jamaica?
No.
Oh. I did know it was Port Royal. I just forgot the name.
Yeah, Jamaica.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So while she's singing, she looks off the side of the boat and she sees a bunch of random stuff. First, it's an upturned umbrella, and then she sees a kid in the water. And she starts screaming, and then people come get him, and blah, 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 blah. And then they bring him up onto the boat, and the kid kind of wakes up, and first of all, she just straight up steals this very expensive-looking medallion off of him.
Straight jacked him.
Like, straight up.
Straight. It's like,
while he's unconscious.
It's like, give me your shit.
Just ripped it off of his fucking neck. That's wild to me.
But if he would have done that, he'd have been hung.
That's what I'm saying.
They would have hung his ass.
That's what I'm saying. So, yeah, she takes it and then just keeps it for like fucking 10 years. Like, what the fuck? So, yeah, the kid ends up waking up, kind of passes out. He says his name's Will Turner and whatever. She wakes up sometime later. She's a lot older now. And she was dreaming. She was like having a rememory dream. And she opens the drawer and she finds the medallion necklace that she puts it back on or whatever. And I know, long story short, we end up getting back to Will. Will is now the apprentice of a blacksmith in Port Royal, which is where he's been working presumably since he showed up there.
Yeah.
The actual blacksmith is fucking useless.
He's drunk. Kind of like Mike. I'm sorry.
Mike's not a drunk at all.
I'm sorry.
That's wildly inaccurate. That has nothing to do with anything. This is why he quit. This is why he left. Fuck. He's drinking now.
I'm the one that sent him the bottle.
Right? So yeah, the actual blacksmith, his name's Smith, right, or something.
I think so.
Yeah, he ends up,
sleeping all the time.
Yeah, he's sleeping all the time. He's drunk, and Will kind of just makes the stuff. But back in the day, you couldn't just tell people like, "No, fuck you. This is what I am doing." Like, he's not doing it. Otherwise, he could have been fired, or his title could have been whatever. It could have been really fucked up. So he just kind of goes with it, and whatever. He makes the swords, and his boss takes the credit, and whatever. It is what it is. He doesn't really like speak out against it. Like, you can tell it bothers him.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really like affect him in any way. Like, he's still probably getting paid.
Yeah.
Not
as much as he should be, but he understands.
Right. So why is he in? We see him in Elizabeth's house. Why is he in Elizabeth's house? So turns out that he is giving. Elizabeth's father is the governor.
Yeah.
Right. So he's the guy, he's the top guy of Port Royal. He's the English liaison.
Yeah.
Right. For the crown. He's the guy who is part of that parliament and moved over. So that's Elizabeth's dad, and he is promoting this guy named Norrington to Commodore, who he would now be commanding the English fleet from Port Royal to survey and kind of cover all of that area of the Caribbean. Will made him a sword. And you can tell that Will really knows what he's doing because he does all these fucking crazy cool tricks with it. And he flings it around and shit.
Balancing it.
Yeah, then he like does the Thanos thing and like puts it on his fingers. Like,
or Thanos did the Will Turner thing.
There we go. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. Thanos is a Pirates fan, confirmed.
Yeah, there it is.
So, so he ends up kind of saying like, it's a very pretty sword, cool, whatever. And the dad is something I do want to talk about because he's fucking annoying as shit. And like, I mean, you want to talk about a little bitch of a man?
Oh,
like, dude,
without a doubt.
Like, bro, he's so like proper that it like he's just a bitch all the time. So, which I shouldn't have said like a little bitch of a man, but like, you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
I mean, that's the correct way to describe it.
So he, I don't know. Elizabeth comes down and they do like Will does like the I've been in love with you since forever thing and whatever, they leave. So then we see the one and only Captain Jack Sparrow come into Port Royal in a sinking boat. Where he got the boat, how it's sinking, who fucking knows?
No.
Who fucking knows?
But bro came in like a goat. Yeah.
So then we get the iconic shot of him sitting on the actual crow, like literally sitting like damn, like where not even the crow's nest, because it's like a little sloop. It's not even like a real boat. It's like a tiny little buoy. And he comes into the port and it's sinking down. And he kind of steps onto the dock and he whatever. So upon arriving, everyone is basically like, "Hey, you need proper clearance to be here." Okay, cool. So then he kind of leaves his boat there. He bribes the boat dock guy into just letting him be like, "Okay, yeah, you're cool, just fine." So then,
but then he steals from him too.
Yeah, he totally does. He takes it's a whole bag of fucking shillings, pouch. Right? Yeah,
he just takes it.
So, excuse me. So, I lost my train of thought. He goes and he's looking for a ship.
Yeah.
He's looking for a ship so that he can go back and get the Black Pearl, but we don't know that yet. He just wants a ship. That's all he's telling anybody. So he goes into this big ship, and we get the two guard guys that kind of appear in the movies. I really want to know the story behind those guys. Like, were they producers? Were they writers? Because a lot of the time, those kind of roles get brought to like producers and stuff. So who knows? They could just be regular actors too. I'm not saying they couldn't be. I'm just.
But they're funny as hell. So.
Yeah, they are. And while they're arguing with each other about what to call the boat, or no, it's about the Black Pearl, because Jack brings up the Black Pearl.
Oh yeah, and talking about if it's real or not.
They're arguing about the ship and if it's real or not. So while they're arguing, Jack sneaks onto the Interceptor, I think, or no, he doesn't have the Interceptor yet.
No, it was another ship. I don't.
The Interceptor was the one that was way out in the right, because that's the faster one.
Yeah,
that's like the crown jewel of the fleet.
Yeah.
So Jack obviously wants that one, but he's not going to say that yet, and we don't know that yet. But he's already planning for it. He already knows what he wants, and he knows what he's going to do. So the guys end up. They're sitting there on the boat arguing, and while they're doing this, Commodore Norrington is getting his promotion to Commodore, and Elizabeth earlier in the movie gets put into a corset, and she's like struggling with how to fucking breathe in those things and whatever. So while she's sitting there in the Jamaican heat, dying from not being able to fucking breathe, she passes out and falls into the water. Jack sees this and immediately goes in to save her. And now I don't know if this is specifically because it touches the water, or if what the magic aspect is here. But the medallion that Elizabeth is wearing ends up getting that does this weird shockwave thing.
Yeah,
and it gets sent through the whole ocean.
I think it would. Does it hit the bottom of the ocean floor?
No, because it's on her. Because Jack takes it off of her.
Oh yeah, that's right. So maybe I think it would just have to be the water then. Because, I mean, if you think about it, since she took it, you think she really took it out into the water since that happened? Probably not. So I'd have to assume, it's from touching the water. But, Jack saves her. They pull
Yeah.
her up and he takes it, and then all
Yeah,
the
and he's
guards show
like,
up.
where did you get that? Because he knows exactly what it is. He knows, but whatever.
Thinking back at it, that part when he says that, it kind of alludes to the end when he gets pushed into the moonlight, and
It could.
It
I
a
guess
little
you could
bit.
see that, but I think it's more of the fact that Jack at this point, like Jack is very. I mean, he's a very shallow person. He just wants things in the moment.
Yeah.
But he plans for things in the future to have rewards of things in the moment. It's weird. Like he doesn't make long-term plans for like to live happily ever after. He just wants to be a pirate and have fun and do cool shit. That's all he wants. So I think at this point in time, he sees that she has a medallion. He knows what the medallion is, and I think he already knows that he's going to use that as leverage against Barbossa to get his revenge on Barbossa for later.
Yeah.
All right. Again, we don't know any of this now, but we all know the movie. We've seen the fucking movie. We're not going to talk around it.
Yeah.
So the guys come up, and again, I've never fucking understood this, but everyone draws their guns on Jack and draw their swords on him, and they're like, "Who are you?" And they're like,
Yeah.
but and they shackle him. They put him in fucking handcuffs.
Yeah. I think it was more the Commodore and her father, because Commodore is supposed to marry Elizabeth. Like, that was...
Yeah, he's a bitch. I get it. And he wanted it.
And
He's jealous. I get it.
Hey, yo, you touched my woman? And
No, I get that. But also, you just watched him pull her out of the fucking water.
Right. You didn't see him jump off the cliff after her.
Yeah.
Right. Bro was like, oh my God, Elizabeth.
Although it's implied that he kind of knows that Jack is a pirate off rip.
Yeah.
Because then he does the whole thing where he shakes his hand.
Oh, you want me to...
Shakes his hand, and then he goes like this, and he pulls his sleeve back, and you see the pirate brand on him. Yeah. Which I don't know how it was historically. Holy fuck! Anyone smell burnt toast? There's a pirate brand on Jack, and I don't know how historically accurate that is. I've never done any research on it, but I wonder if I would assume that pirate brands were a thing.
I mean, yeah.
If you get caught for piracy, they would either hang you or just straight up, or they would pirate brand you on your way to hang you, so they know what you did.
That way they know. I don't know. I feel like that's something that could have happened.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I'm curious to see how historically accurate the pirate branding is. Again, this is probably all explained in that fucking documentary that I know exists somewhere, but I don't know where the fuck it is or what it's called. Whatever. So they end up handcuffing Jack, and Jack is like, the whole pirate thing. Well, I saved your life, you're going to save mine. So he takes Elizabeth around the neck like this, and he takes his things back, and then he escapes. And as he escapes, he says the famous line, "You will always remember this as the day you almost caught Captain Jack Sparrow." And he runs away, and it's this really cool big thing, and he's swinging around on the winch, and then he...
Got the epic music playing in the back.
And then he ends up escaping and running into the blacksmith shop where Will works. Mm-hmm. It's this really funny scene where he comes into the blacksmith shop and the blacksmith is sleeping, and he does that thing where he goes to see if he's awake, and then he turns around and he goes, "What?" and yells in his face, and he doesn't wake up. And then he just keeps going.
Yeah. That whole fight scene was amazing.
Yeah, and then Will shows up and they fight because he's a pirate and whatever. We're going to cut a long story short because we got 4 other movies to talk about. So basically, he finds out his name's Will Turner. He's the son of Bootstrap Bill Turner, who set the curse on the men in for the Black Pearl. Jack ends up getting caught and gets sent to jail. And while he's in jail, we get the whole thing with the dog, the dog and the keys.
From the ride,
And the dog doesn't move. And Jack says, "You can keep doing that forever. The dog is never going to move." And he's not saying that about the dog. He's saying that about the animatronic. He's making a joke because the dog in the ride never moves. You can do that forever, and the dog will never move.
I never realized that.
So he's making a little joke about that. So then the Black Pearl shows up because they got the message from their little medallion thing, and they are just fucking up Port Royal.
Yeah.
I mean, they come in and they are pillaging, plundering away, and one of the pirates, his name is JaCoby.
I know. I saw that a while ago when I was looking through the cast.
One of the pirates, his name is JaCoby, and it's the pirate that has the bombs.
Oh, really?
So the pirate with the bombs, and I know that because I played the Lego Pirates of the Caribbean game from way back in the day, and I knew that because on the little Lego token, his name was JaCoby. Pretty cool.
To answer your question earlier, they did get branded, but
For why?
Huh?
For why?
This is from worldhistory.org. Doesn't say for why, but it just says there were numerous that were pirates were so numerous that those captured were often branded with the letter P on their foreheads.
Damn.
With a red hot iron.
Well, that would be, yeah, I can see why they moved it to his wrist.
Yeah.
Because that would kind of fuck up the whole thing.
Yeah. Just put it right on his forehead.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. Holy shit. What the fuck?
Right.
Why were people so extreme with
So
their...
mean.
Like, what the fuck? So... Will wakes up because the port is under siege and all this shit, and Will ends up getting knocked out. He wakes up, and the whole port is destroyed, and everybody's running around or whatever, and all the shops and shit are destroyed. And so then he runs straight up to the Commodore, and he's like, "We need to go find Elizabeth!" Because, yeah, the pirates took Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Well, took her.
Yeah. She
took her.
Parlay.
She said parlay.
Yeah.
And teaching the world what parlay means... It's when it's when you're requesting an audience with the captain of said crew. Yeah. So if you ever meet a pirate and you say parlay, that means I want to talk to the captain. And they'll be like, okay, according to their code, they have to agree, right?
Yeah.
So they take Elizabeth. Will wakes up and he goes straight to the Commodore and he starts making this whole big deal. And they're like, what the fuck do you think we're doing? Like, if you have any idea of where we should start looking, please let us know.
Right.
You know? So then he brings it up and goes, hey, well, Jack's a pirate. He might know. And they're like, absolutely not. We don't deal with pirates. It's not happening. But Will, being Will,
said fuck that.
And he does it anyway.
No.
So Will goes to Jack. Jack says, yeah, the Black Pearl, it's a real thing, blah, 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 blah. And... they then we get to see how smart Will is because the hinges on the door. Turns out all Jack had to do was just lift up really hard and he could have got out the entire time. So Will uses a bench and he kind of pries it underneath and then he steps on it and it lifts up. And then they go and they're trying to get a ship. So then Jack goes back to that one ship where he met those two guards. He takes off with the ship. I don't know why it fucking does that.
I don't know either. He
takes off with the ship, and as he's going, the whole fort is like, "Hey, someone's taking the ship," and whatever. And they all run and they jump into the interceptor, and they chase after him. Now, the interceptor they jump into because it is very, very fast, and they say that they make a point of saying that. So everybody jumps into this one boat, and they go after Jack. And as they go after Jack, they get over to the boat, they get onto the boat, and while everyone's onto that boat, Jack and Will swing over to the interceptor, and they take off in the fastest boat in the fleet. No. Okay. Okay. Good. Calm down.
All right.
Calm down.
So we have two new guests with us today. Halfway through the episode. Well, not even halfway probably, but we have Loki and Roxy.
Okay. This is Loki.
Hey.
So,
yeah.
Anyway, they get onto the interceptor and they go to Tortuga, and basically Will tries to have some balls against Jack and says I forget what he says. He basically tells him, "We're doing this my way, and after we get Elizabeth back, you're going right back to jail and all this shit."
Yeah.
And Jack's like, "Listen here, kid," and he turns the wheel like this, and the fucking I forget what that thing's called.
The mast?
No, it's not the mast, but it's the thing that's connected to the mast of the sails. It swings and it hits him, and he's dangling over the boat. And he goes, "You got two options. I can either let you drown here, or you can work with me, and we can get your girl back, and I can go on my own. And now we're square. And let's just
leave it at that.
So then he's like, okay, and he brings it back onto the boat, and they go to Tortuga to get pirates. So then we're in Tortuga, and this is the area of the movie where the ride is. Like, it's the heart of Pirates of the Caribbean. This is where all of the pirates are. So it's on fire. The song's playing in the background. Yeah. A lot of the a lot of the actors are moving like the animatronics do. It's very cool. Very, very cool. You're going to hear Loki in the background. She'll stop.
Just ignore her.
Mike, I don't know. Subtitle it.
Yeah, I don't know. Just throw in a woof woof every once in a while.
So now we get to Tortuga. And Tortuga, like I said, is the heart of where all the pirates are. So this is where we meet a now much older Gibbs, the guy from the boat. And he left the Royal Navy and became a pirate. So now he's a pirate, and he is sitting in a pig pen, which is disgusting. That's fucking gross.
Straight from the ride.
Like, yeah, he's the guy from the ride. Yeah. So Will throws a bucket of water on him, wakes him up, and as he's awake, and Jack's there talking to him, and then Will hits him again with water, and he's like, "Blast, I'm already awake!" And then he's like, "That was for the smell." So then they go into the bar, and they have Will. Jack's messing with Will, and he's like, "You might want to keep an eye on these guys because they're pirates. You know, they're gonna attack us. They're gonna hurt us, but they're no one gives a fuck that they're there.
Yeah.
So they're just putting Will on edge for no reason. And then Jack tells Gibbs who Will Turner is. He is the son of Bootstrap Bill, and that's apparently a big name to everybody in this movie and whatever. So Will overhears this and kind of knows that they're going to do some pirate shit to him. And whatever. So then they leave, and the next morning they gather their crew. And fucking wild appearance from Zoe Saldana.
Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, back
Young
then,
Zoe Saldana.
when you see it, you're like, oh, okay.
Well, she's not wearing green or blue makeup, so
Yeah.
you don't really notice that it's her.
Yeah. But now it's like, oh shit, it's Gamora.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and she's talked about this role before in the past, and she basically said that, yeah, it was fun, but she wanted to have a more prominent role in the movies, which I understand completely, which, back then, I don't really know. Again, I don't really know a whole lot about her career at the time, but I'm not really sure what type of stuff she was in prior to this.
Don't know.
Because again, Guardians was 2014 and Avatar was 206.
Repeat what?
Guardians was 2014 and Avatar was 2006 or 2009?
2009.
Just small movies?
Yeah. Drumline in 2002.
I don't know what that is.
So, black person movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
My grandma made me watch it. Great film. Great film. Yeah, small movies.
Okay. Well, yeah, so she wasn't really a very prominent actor, but she thought that this, obviously she probably thought that this was going to be a big role for, which I undoubtedly think it was at the time. But again, she didn't really have that big of a role, and she just basically yells at Jack Sparrow and Keira Knightley in this movie, primarily. Doesn't really do much else. Then we get Marty, who is the short person.
Eli, yeah. Sorry.
I'm trying to be not offensive one fucking episode.
Sorry.
He's an actor with dwarfism, and he's a he's been in a lot of stuff. He's kind of one
He's
of
a
those,
great actor.
He's kind of just a character actor that people throw into movies.
Yeah.
But he's a great actor. And he's the guy with the big gun, and when he shoots it, he flies back. And they added that to the Lego game too. That's how I know that.
That's awesome.
So he, again, I'm going to cut this really short because we got a lot more movies to get through. So basically, I lost where I was.
We're talking about Marty.
You talk. What are we doing now? Where are we going? Oh, Elizabeth's been on the Black Pearl.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, she's been on the Black Pearl the entire time. I think the one scene that I really enjoy is her dad when he's on the Pearl. Or no, he's not on the Pearl.
When they're being attacked, but that's later though. That's later though.
Attacked.
Yeah, that's later though.
Yeah, I know. I was just trying to move ahead because we got 4 more movies to talk about.
And I want to talk about this part because Elizabeth finds out that the pirates are cursed, aka cursed the Black Pearl. And basically, Barbossa is telling her about this whole story about they stole some treasure, and the entire crew, went out and they sold it and whatever. And then they found out, as weeks went on, they started to realize that their bodies were like deteriorating, and they couldn't taste things anymore. They can't feel things anymore, and all this weird shit. And then they step out in the moonlight. And they turn into skeletons. Dun dun dun.
So cool.
And then you get the really cool part where it's the long take of Barbossa walking kind of toward the camera, and his face morphs into a skeleton.
Great
and he
effects.
says, you best start believing in ghost stories, Miss Turner. You're in one.
Yeah.
Oh, also we should have mentioned that when she gets to the pirate ship, she tells the pirates that her last name is Turner. So they think that she is the offspring of Bootstrap Bill, which is bad news bears for her.
Yeah.
So she literally could have picked any other fucking name. She could have picked any other name, but she didn't.
She's in love with Will.
Yeah, but any other fucking name. Any other name. They probably would have let her go. They honestly probably would have let her go.
Probably. But, then that just ruins the whole movie.
I know. But, girl, be fucking for real. Whatever. So, anywho, they get to the island with Elizabeth, and they basically explain they have to return all of the gold that they stole from this little Aztec chest from some guy named Cortez.
Yeah, and the coin she has is the last one.
Right,
yeah.
The last one that they need. So, which Bootstrap Bill had put onto Will, and if that bitch Elizabeth didn't fucking straight up steal it, he probably still would have fucking had it.
True.
But since she just has to be fucking stupid and grab shit without asking anybody or telling anybody, so Elizabeth gets dragged into this giant cave, and there's all this treasure and all this gold in here and whatever. So then all the pirates are trying to be cured, and they cut. Basically, what you got to do, it's a blood thing. So you got to return all the gold, and you have to spill your own blood inside the thing, the big chest of it, and that will reset the curse. Yeah. So she cuts her hand, or they cut her hand, I should say, and kind of move it around in the coin, and then they drop it in, and they expect a change, and nothing happens. At this point, also, Will and Jack are there at the same time. They're also there.
Yes, with the Commodore and all them, because didn't they make...
Nope. That's
yet?
way later.
Oh.
Way later.
I thought it was
they come back to this spot 3 or 4 times in the movie.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Well, twice, I should say, but it's not till later. So, also around this time is when we find out what happened to Jack and why he does not like Barbossa and what happened to the Pearl. And then we find out that Captain Jack Sparrow used to captain the Black Pearl himself.
Nope.
And the crew, led by Barbossa, did a mutiny, and they took the Pearl from him, and they abandoned him on this desert island with one shot and something else. Like his compass, his sword, and all this shit, and then a gun with one shot. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
And the entire movie... earlier in when Will and Jack were fighting in the blacksmith thing, he loads the shot and he's going to shoot him, and he says, "This shot is not meant for you."
Yeah.
And then, the blacksmith actually does something with his fucking life and knocks out Jack. So
And then takes all the credit.
yeah. So then, so we find out that Barbossa did a mutiny on Jack. They left him on this island, and Jack has been saving this one shot so that he could finally fucking kill Barbossa. Mm-hmm. That's his whole plan. He wants to use that one bullet, that one shot that Barbossa gave him, and use it on him.
Talk about holding a grudge.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. That's fucking crazy.
That's dedication right there.
Yeah, dude. Out of all the people, I mean, let's be real. Like, what situations are you going to get yourself into at this point in time? I mean, yeah, he's a pirate, but he hasn't really been doing anything since he got off the island.
Yeah.
So, whatever. So then they end up finding out that Elizabeth is not who she says she is. She's not a Turner, so the curse does not work. It's not lifted. And he gets pissed and he smacks her off the thing, and she rolls down, and then Will comes and grabs her, and they escape with her, and they get her back to the interceptor. And then Jack is kind of stumbling around. Oh, he also knocks out Jack because Jack basically planned to hold Will like over Barbossa's head and be like, I know who you need. I know who you need. And, if you want to get him back, then I'll take my shit back and you can take him back and you cannot be cursed anymore. That's his whole plan. So he knocks out Jack and leaves him there. And then Jack wakes up and he kind of was walking around, and all the pirates are looking for Elizabeth because they don't know where she went.
Yeah.
So then Jack kind of stumbles into all of them, and they kind of all surround him. And then Barbossa comes out and he's like, how the hell did you get off the island? What happened? So Jack's probably had been like spinning tales about how he actually did it, and we find out what he actually did later. So they take Jack back to the Black Pearl, and they're kind of holding him prisoner there. They go after the interceptor, and this is the scene where they start loading everything off.
Yeah.
Because to go faster, to whatever. Because the Black Pearl, the interceptor's fast, but the Black Pearl's faster.
Way faster.
So, they're catching up and whatever. Then it turns into a big fight, and then they end up taking the entire crew. They release the crew. Elizabeth stays on the ship with Jack, and and Will does too because they need him. And then, they banish Elizabeth and Jack again on the same island that Jack was on. They never really say how long ago it was.
No, they don't.
But you can presume that it was a little while ago.
Yeah.
So, because of what Jack says in the scene coming up. So they get on the island, and Elizabeth's like, we have to get off of here. How did you do it last time? And all this, whatever. So then you see Jack kind of just doing random shit. Like he goes up to this tree and he like knocks on it. And then he takes like 3 or 4 big paces forward. And he opens up this big thing, and it's a fucking rum stash. So then Jack explains that he was only on the island last time for 3 days. And
Goat.
2 of those days were him lying on a beach drinking rum. Because there was a big rum trading company that would use this island as a stash. And they would come here, they would resupply it, and they would go back to, and they would go sell. While they were on their trip, Jack stowed a ride. He got off the island, and he, escaped.
Yeah.
But because of Norrington, he's been cracking down on piracy and on the thing in this area of the Caribbean. So that whole company doesn't exist anymore. So they are actually stranded on this island this time, and there is no way to get off. And Jack's plan is to just lie on the beach and drink rum until he dies again, or just figure out something until to get off.
I mean, it sounds like a good plan to me.
Yeah, that's literally just all the character of Jack Sparrow is. Like,
Rum.
okay, well, I'm fucked. So I'm just gonna kind of chill here until something happens. No. Like that's literally his entire personality. So then Elizabeth comes up with the idea of burning the rum. She, drinks with Jack until he passes out, and then she uses the rest of the rum and she burns it to make a big smoke thing. And then, Norrington and her father pick her up. She convinces them to go help Will. They go get Will, and there's this whole big fight scene at the end of the movie, and all the Jack convinces all the pirates to leave and go attack the Navy, and then whatever. And then they end up
fight scene.
They end up getting cured, Then Jack, does this thing where he takes one of the chips, and now he is cursed.
Yeah.
So then he steps in the moonlight and he turns into a ghost guy, skeleton guy, and he does this thing with his hand. He like moves it between his fingers. I just watched this scene this morning, and then happily ever after. Except Jack is now being charged with piracy and is about to be hanged. And Will comes back to Port Royal, and he's relieved of his charges of being a pirate for the time being. And he helps free Jack from being hanged. And then, he escapes, and it's the part where he's saying that he almost caught Captain Jack Sparrow, and he falls off.
Yeah.
He falls in the water, and then he swims to the Black Pearl, and Elizabeth, and, Norrington realizes he's being cucked.
Oh, yeah.
So
Big
then
time.
he's like, "This is where your heart truly lies." And then, they make out, in front of Norrington. And I'm pretty sure, if it was any other time period, Will would have been like, right to Norrington.
I definitely would have done that.
As you're making out with it. And then, and movie. Roll credits.
And that's the only Pirates movie they ever made. Right?
Yeah.
No.
And then we get, I'm pretty sure this is where they got it from. Bring Me the Horizon. I'm pretty sure they took the line at the end of this movie. Bring me that horizon.
Really?
I mean, come on. Where else would you have gotten it from?
Yeah, that's true.
I think. At least I think. I'm not sure if that's 100% right. I'm not a fan of Bring Me the Horizon, but I do. I think that could be the case.